It's the life of a farmer. It's just the life of a farmer.
Hey guys, this is Drew. This is my second attempt because I don't think it actually recorded the first time, but I talk about my garden a lot I post about it a lot, I should say. Thought I'd do a little video just to give you an idea of what it actually looks like. Let you see what it looks like. So we had to put that fence around because Kiana's chickens were getting in the beds and stirring up the soil. When the plants are real small, obviously it's easy to tear them out. So I just left the fence up. It will be coming down pretty soon because the weeds in between the beds are kind of hard to take care of when it's like that. So start over here with the tomatoes. This first plant is a Rutgers. It's more of a slicer. It's bigger than the others. It's the only one of its kind at this point. If you see the line or the string, what I have to do here, and here's a hole here, I just haven't put anything in it. I have an attachment on my drill. This is very hard clay soil. So what I do is I drill a hole in the ground about 2 feet. The chickens are going at it. And so I plan to drill more holes. I've got plenty more plants. I always go overboard, as you know. The rest of these in this row are called alpaca tomatoes. They're a paste tomato. They get very big. Some of them, this plant here's got a couple blooms on it. That plant there's got a bloom on it. So on that plant right there's got a bloom on it. So it won't be long. We'll be having tomatoes. We should have plenty to can. We still have a lot of canned tomatoes left from last year. We just got a dehydrator yesterday. Not that we're going to use that for tomatoes, but we will be using it for some other stuff. Trying to avoid freezing everything and canning everything. We're running out of jars and running out of space. So we're thinking if we can dehydrate and just put it on a shelf, we've got plenty of space for that. So these are onions. Excuse me, my original plan with this was to put potatoes in it, and then I ended up putting onions instead. I started these onions from seed, and as you can see, they're doing pretty well. That plant there, can't see the bulb at all, but it is huge. Let's see, this is the biggest one so far, and you can see just from the base of that bulb is probably really big. So it shouldn't be a whole lot longer. These will be ready to pick. So in here, this is our second round of beans. These were planted from seed about almost 8 weeks ago. So if you look down in there, there are some, I just noticed that one. That's a pretty good sized bean. It just hasn't filled out. These beans get about 6-8 inches long. I didn't know that, but I'm going to show you the other ones that were started before these, and you'll be able to see what I mean. This is our garlic. I've never grown garlic before, so if you look at it and say, oh, that's some sad looking garlic, well, I've never done it before, so it probably needs to be watered as well. We haven't had a lot of rain as a lot of the country, and it's been super hot, so I think it's doing okay. But if you think different, just let me know. I won't take offense to it. This is our old bed. I'm kind of embarrassed because the weeds are bad. So these are the first beans. I started these indoor. A lot of them didn't make it when I transferred them because, as I found, beans don't like to be transplanted. So I do have some started indoor in biodegradable bags. I've been told that that will work because you don't mess with the the roots. All you're doing is putting the whole thing in the ground, and they transplant a lot better. That'll allow us to get more successions of beans rather than have a huge garden. We just plant the same thing over and over, 3 or 4 times a year, hoping to get 4 succession plantings of beans. Might not happen, I don't know. But I'll do a close up here. You can see these beans are pretty long, and they just haven't completely filled out yet. So we'll be picking these. There's not enough plants here to make enough to can. So we'll just pick those to eat. And then when the big bed starts going, then those will can. These are sunflowers. They're a dwarf variety of sunflower. They're only going to get, I think it said 6 to 8 feet, which doesn't seem real dwarf to me, but I guess regular sunflowers get super tall. So they're continuing to grow. They got really thick stalks, although in the head, you can see the head starting to form there. Never grown sunflowers before, not successfully. I've tried before, it just didn't happen. So in this bed, we have a couple, cucumber plants. This one's doing pretty well. I'm going to trellis it up these lines for 2 reasons. One, it keeps it off the ground, bugs don't get to them as bad, and second, because I'm fat, I don't want to have to bend over. How's that? We also have 2 green pepper plants in here. The soil that's in here I got from a local organic farmer that had a compost pile. I don't know. It doesn't look good. The soil doesn't look good at all, actually. So the stuff that's in here is doing so-so. That's a nasturtium plant. It's supposed to put out flowers that attract pollinators, but chases off other insects. We have all these little gnats flying around, and I guess it's pretty common in this year all over the country. So it's kind of irritating to be out here. So I don't see what bug is putting all these holes in my plants. I mean, I'm sure that fly is not putting a hole in the plant for the cabbage. I don't even like cabbage. I like coleslaw. I like sauerkraut, but I don't like raw cabbage or boiled cabbage. You can thank my mom for that. She burned me out on that when we were kids. I love my mom, but I ate boiled ham and cabbage so much as a kid, I don't care to eat it at all anymore. So this is sweet corn. Never grown sweet corn successfully before. But as you can see, the stalks are big. This is also a dwarf variety. It's called Fisher's Earliest. We've got the tassels out. You probably saw a post where I asked about the tassels, because the tassels come on before I ever saw any corn at all, and I was worried that I wasn't going to get anything. But you can see I've got lots of that as well. I have it interplanted with, there's a yellow squash in the left lower corner there. There is a zucchini in this corner. In the far right corner, there is a cucumber. I thought it was a zucchini, but I was surprised to find that it was a cucumber plant, and it's growing up the stalks. So I'm pretty happy that happened. And then there's a zucchini back in that other left upper corner. The idea there is that the squash and now cucumber plant will shade the soil, keeping the soil moist for the corn, because corn takes a lot of water. The corn will shade the squash, keeping it from getting too hot, and so they work well together, and the plants kind of grow up the corn, especially that cucumber plant. The corn can hold it. So never done it before. I just saw it on a video on YouTube, and thought I'd give it a try. So I'm going to show you a clip. The previous video that I did, there was in that treetop there was a cardinal, so I'm going to try to splice in that video so that you guys can see the cardinal, because we've been very blessed with this property. It was Kiana's grandmother's grandparents' property. We were able to buy it from them. We're glad to carry on tradition. We've tried to maintain a lot of Grandma Stewart's, I'll just scan across here, Grandma Stewart's flowers and stuff, but man, she had a lot of them. She had lots of time to weed and whatnot, so I'm just going to show you a view of our property. We call this the back pasture. We don't do anything back there but mow it. We have about 3 acres, and I mow, that's including where the house and the barn sits. So I estimate that I mow about 2 acres at least once a week. With it being this hot, it's not been quite as often, but earlier this spring, it was crazy. It was every 3 or 4 days, and I was out here. And I can't do it all at one time because I'm so busy normally that I can't get it all done in one day. So it seems like I mow every day. So thanks, guys. Hopefully by next Saturday a lot more has happened. I'm going to try to do a video every Saturday just to give you an update. Obviously we don't take care of our fence rows as well as we should, but we need an army of kids, I guess, to do that, and we don't have that. So give and take. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you next Saturday. All right, video supplemental. So this is the grape arbor that Grandma Stewart had. I have trimmed it back a number of times, as you're supposed to, but I've always tried to keep it from going up into this tree. However, I want to show you this. It's kind of neat. It's a canopy of grapes, which is nice because I'm fat and I don't want to have to bend over to pick. So now, if this works out, all I have to do is come up here and just walk right underneath them and plant and pick them. And there are a ton. There was a tree growing in here, that's why this is all open. I cut it out earlier this week, but you can see back in there, there's just tons and tons of grapes. We've never had this many grapes. We had problems with Japanese beetles for like 3 years. Last year I sprayed BT religiously, like once a week, and it looks like it's working, or it has worked, because what they do is they burrow down in the ground and then they come back up in the spring worse than they were the year before. But if you can get enough of them killed off, then the colony dies and you don't have to worry about it anymore. And I think that's where we're at. Famous last words, right? Okay, so there you go.
It's the life